I'm Pastor Ellie.
And I'm Pastor Curt.
And we're from Seven Seas Ministries.
And you hear the noise in the background. There's a lot of waves here today. They're kind of crashing on the shore. Really pretty to look at and pretty to hear. And we've been sitting here talking for a little while. And I want to kind of follow up on one of the most recent videos that we did that talks about, we talked about being God's hands and feet and helping people. And we want to make sure that there's a balance that gets brought to that. Helping people is awesome. It's something that we should do. But on the flip side, we also need to make sure that we keep our priorities straight, because most of us have people and things in our lives that require our attention. And, we have obligations that we need to tend to. For example, if we're married, we need to make sure that we're paying attention to and tending to our spouses, and making sure that we're showing them the love that they need to be shown, giving them the affection, the attention that they need to be shown.
Yes.
A marriage is a serious deal, and if we neglect our relationship with our husband or our wife, it'll catch up with us sooner or later. And if we have children deserve and want and need our attention and our affection.
Yeah.
They need discipline, they need teaching, they need instruction. And if we make ourselves too busy with helping others, then our children will suffer, because they won't get the proper upbringing, they won't get the proper discipline, they won't get the proper time and attention from us, and they won't feel loved.
Right.
So it's really important that as we put ourselves out there to help others, that we also make sure that we're not putting ourselves out there to a degree that causes us to pull away from and ignore the responsibilities that we have as husbands, wives, and parents. So one of the things that I really feel strongly about mentioning right now is there are so many things that can be going on in our lives, and there are issues, I guess, for lack of a better word, that can come up. There are things that can come up in our lives that aren't always easy to deal with. And on the flip side, maybe we are neglecting some things, or maybe not stepping up to the plate in some areas because we've gotten so busy. And if we know that this is going on, if we see this is going on in our lives, it's important that we stop what we're doing and we take the time and we make the effort to fix it. To fix it while it's little,
Right.
while it's a little thing, not waiting until it's this big or this big. Because there are things that we can fix when they're little that don't take a lot of effort. They do take effort, but they don't take as much effort as it would if we waited until it's big. Because sometimes things can get so big that they're very hard to fix.
Right.
And there's nothing that's ever too big to fix if we let God help us with it. But when we wait until something is really, really, really wrong, it makes it so much harder to correct it. It's, picture a big ship, I guess, and it's headed on a certain course, and maybe, the people running the ship aren't paying attention, and it starts to veer off course. Well, if you get, just a degree off course for a short amount of time, it's not too hard to correct that ship and get it back on course.
Right.
But if that ship is even just 1 degree off course for a long time, that's going to be way off the path, and it's going to be way off where it's supposed to be, and it's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of work to get that ship turned, for one thing, and then get it back to the path where it was supposed to be to begin with. So as much as we are called to help others, and as much as we should help others, We need to make sure that we're helping those and caring for those and loving those that are the closest to us. You know, God put people in our lives and put us in other people's lives for a reason, and that is to be there for each other, to care for each other, to love each other, support each other, and help each other. So when opportunities or other things arise to help others, we need to weigh it all out and be careful that we don't drop everything that we're doing every time a need arises.
Right.
And go running to help somebody else when there are things that we are obligated to and that are critical and important in our own lives to take care of.
Right.
Sometimes, you know, Pastor Ellie and I were just talking a few minutes ago about how sometimes things will come our way or come to our attention, and maybe it's not necessarily for us to fix or to help with or to take care of,
Right.
but we know somebody who can. So maybe sometimes it's just a matter of us connecting the dots or connecting the people, and somebody else might be able to step in and help with that.
Yeah,
you know?
it's kind of like farm it out to somebody else.
Yeah,
Because not everybody knows what's going on in every situation.
right.
And if you're the person that everybody goes to, and they feel comfortable going to you, or then it may be, sometimes it may be something that you need to deal with, but then sometimes it may be something where you can, like Pastor Curt says, connect
Right.
them with somebody that can help them in their situation,
Right.
as long as they're comfortable with it or whatnot. But you know, when things start to go wrong, when we put ourselves out there so much and things start to go wrong, it gets hard to fix. Like Pastor Curt says, it can get too far. It can go so far to the point where now it's become a big problem.
Yeah.
And it's hard to fix.
Right.
Whereas, you know, if God wants us to help somebody and it's something we should do, then it's going to be more of a balancing thing where we'll be able to help them, but we'll also be able to tend to our things as well.
Right.
But if we start to have problems in our own home or our own situation, then it's time to kind of say, wait a minute here.
Yeah.
I need to pull back, and
Yeah.
I need to see what's going on here,
Take a look at it.
because God will show us. You know, He's not going to let us be helping somebody over here when we've got things in our own area that we need to
Yeah.
be taking care of, and so we need to make sure that we pay attention to that, and we
Right.
listen, and we be prayerful about the things that we help people with,
Right.
because you know, it could come to us, but it doesn't necessarily always mean that we're the one to complete it. We may
Right.
be the one to kind of farm it out to the right
Yeah,
person.
set things in motion and get things in order.
And that may be our part in the deal.
Right.
That may be our part
Yeah.
in helping them.
Right.
So, you know, just really keep it balanced. And the way to do that, because it's hard, the way to do that is just be prayerful about it. You know, be prayerful about what is our part. How can we help?
Right. Right.
And then let God show us so that we
Yep.
can kind of balance it out on
Right.
all ends.
and if you remember, if you haven't read the story about the Good Samaritan, you know, we would encourage you to do that, because if you remember correctly, that story, the person, the Samaritan who found the person, you know, beat up and laying beside the road, helped that person.
Yeah.
They bandaged their wounds. They took them to a place where they could be, be fed and cared for. But then the Samaritan actually turned that person over to
Yes.
someone else's care.
Yeah.
So even though they were the one that found the person and initially tended to them,
Yes.
they weren't there for the long haul to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
They set it up so that person would be cared for.
Yes.
And in that case, he actually paid the bill for everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, so that's a really good example of
Yes.
how we may be the one to set things in motion. We may be the one to do the initial part of helping.
Yes.
We may be just the one to connect the people that need to be
Yes.
connected to set everything in motion.
Just point them in the right
Yeah,
direction sometimes.
But we don't need to be the one that always does it or follows it through all the way to the end. There will be cases where, that is required, but then there will be times where it's not.
Yes, we have to be careful of burning out and getting tired, and because in that tiredness and in that burning out, it can do more harm than good.
Yeah, and then we're not useful to anyone, not even God or ourselves, if we're burned out.
And you begin to lose the joy of it all. Helping people is wonderful.
Yeah,
it's a wonderful feeling that you get when you can help somebody. And sometimes people may get stuck on that feeling because it feels so good, but I think doing things right and doing things the way God wants us to do is a better feeling.
Yeah.
And being in doing it when we're not supposed to do it can wear us down, burn us out, and cause us to lose our joy. Right. And we
become frustrated and angry and bitter.
Right. So we need to just make sure that we stay balanced.
Right.
Let God help us. Be prayerful about those that come to us that need help, in how to point them in the right direction. Right. And if it is us that we're supposed to help them completely and through the whole thing, then it is us. But if it's not, then God will show us who else to bring in, or where to point them to, or what to do in that way.
That's right. So hopefully this will bring some balance and kind of complete the little story, and help us to keep things in perspective and keep things balanced. So that's it for now. We love you guys. We appreciate your prayers. Thank you for them.
Yes,
and
thank you.
if you guys need to talk or have comments or whatever, feel free to either comment below the video, go to our website, use the Contact Us page, or give us a call, whatever it is you want to do.
Yes.
And until the next video, you guys be blessed.
Yes.
And take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.